Alice Loxton, also known as History Alex. Alice, welcome. Nice to see you.
Thank you so much. I'm so excited to be here.
I'm really happy to see you in real life because I've been following you on Instagram. You've got 1.6 million followers. I'm one of them. In the cheap seats watching you. Tell everyone what you do, and then I'll tell them how well you do it, because your humility you can't be allowed to shine through. So you go.
Okay, so I make videos every day, and I make videos about historic locations around the UK and Ireland, and places kind of churches, cathedrals.
Yes.
Castles, whatever it might be, and I just put them on my social media.
Next question.
Yeah.
Why?
Why?
Why do you do it?
Because I love history. It's something that I'm genuinely, I love exploring all these places. It's what I would do even if I didn't have a social media channel. Okay. I just love, I love exploring them. And what's so exciting is that there are so many people out there who are the same. Yeah. So there's a lot of us. We're a big gang.
You are the nerd queen of your generation. And I love it. I've got so many questions. The other thing is, how do you decide on a given day what building, museum, column, wall that you want to tell the story of? Because you're spoiled for choice, obviously, but tell me how you come to a decision on this.
Well, sometimes I just happen to be somewhere. So on Sunday I was at Winfield House in London, and I was so inspired by the historic surroundings. I just made a video.
Yeah.
But then sometimes I go on special trips to film, and you need to do that because you have to ask the marketing teams.
But you were in Downing Street.
Oh yeah,
recently.
that was a big highlight.
Tell me about
year.
that.
So I was asked to go to Downing Street to make this event, to host this event.
Yeah.
That they have, where they have school children in, and then they have the US ambassador's husband there, and he was like, it's like a panel to inspire school children. But whilst I was there, I was like, can I make some TikToks? And that is pretty unheard of, because like getting access to film and TikTok at Downing Street is quite hard.
But you did. And what rooms were you struck by? Because sometimes these buildings, because I was only saying yesterday, having been in the White House a few times, you see how chintzy it is and how kind of gaudy almost.
Yeah.
So how did you find the Downing Street experience?
Well, Downing Street's funny because, so the facade.
Yeah, of course.
You think it's like one house that would go, it looks like that should be like one house, but actually you go in and it's this massive warren, and there's loads of rooms, and it's all interconnected across the street. But yeah, it was amazing, and I met the cat. Larry.
Yes, Larry the cat.
And everyone was very excited about that on social media, much more so than the history.
I was going to say, you're looking at this building saying, think of the number of prime ministers who've come through the door, and everyone's going, but what about the cat?
Honestly, the comments of those, it's like, this is an amazing, literally, this amazing room. Everyone's like, oh, I want to see more of the cat. Where's Larry?
One of the things, TikTok comes in for criticism for whatever reason, but one of the upticks, if you will, is that for me as a reader and evangelical about books and reading, is that the book talk thing is in itself. Now you go into a bookshop, you'll see the book talk thing.
Yeah.
So younger people are all reading, which is just terrific. But equally with history, the amount of people that follow you suggests that there's this lovely mass of people who want this. Yeah. But the key is to make it, and this is what you do so well, just so happy to meet you, is that a bad teacher can murder history.
Yes.
Murder it.
Yeah.
There are people listening to this who said, I had the worst teacher. Yeah. I thought history was boring. I didn't like it. And of course, you always say to kids, you love history, you just haven't met the right teacher yet.
Yeah.
So you're a great teacher, I think, in this regard. What is it about the history that makes you so happy and makes you so enthusiastic to sell it? Because you're selling it nearly.
Yeah. No, well, you're totally right, and it's probably the most common comment I get is I was taught history at school and I was put off by it, and actually I'm realizing now, whether it's through social media or books or whatever, that actually I love this. And exactly. of course people love it because it's everything that's ever happened. These are the stories, real life stories that are absolutely incredible, absolutely unbelievable, and it's about everything that's ever happened. So whatever your interest, whether it be cars, whether it be baking, whether it be fashion, whatever it is, there is a past and there is a history for it. And so what I really try and help people do is just find that access point. And I think everyone's got an in to history. You just got to help people find it.
Oh, that's great.
And I hope that I can do it. But the reason I love it is because, I love all of these stories. I am amazed all the time, wherever I go, at the stories that you find, whether that just be the idea that somebody in the medieval period could build a cathedral, such a beautiful building, that people could do this without modern technology.
That's before we get to ancient Rome and what they were building.
Yeah, I know.
The underfloor heating. Ask the Romans. Okay, back in. Will you stay around for a few minutes?
I'll be around.
Back with History Alice live in studio. And that's Dua Lipa and our guest this morning, History Alice Loxton. You met Dua Lipa quite recently. How was she?
Oh, yeah, I did. I met her at Winfield House, which
was pick that name up on your way out, please.
The US Ambassador's house in London. But yeah, I was massive fangirl and very uncool.
Did you have a lovely speech to deliver to her about
I just said, Dua Lipa, I really like your music.
That's about as much as I'd be able to say. Paul McCartney, I met him once and I just ended up patting him on the shoulder going...
Well, it was an event and I thought it was going to be kind of quite a lot of nerdy historians there, and then she walked in and it was just because her
book club,
because it was the film Masters of the Air.
Oh yeah.
And her boyfriend's in it, and that's why she was there.
Is that why she? But she's a very smart person in her own right. She has a book club, and she goes to schools. I think she's
cool.
Kind of.
She was amazing. I was starstruck. I have to say.
We're talking about your amazing Instagram account, but also I was laughing because I bought your book Uproar, which is still getting great features in all the shop windows or whatever. And I bought it, and my oldest daughter said, "What's the book about?" I said, "It's about satire in the 18th century." She went, "Oh, that book is so you." Well, and now here I am talking to you about it. What is this book about?
So it's all about this set of revolutionary artists in the 18th century, and they basically created these satirical prints. So they're very funny. They're just these kind of visual jokes, and they'd be displayed in the print shop windows of London. And no one has really talked about them for kind of a general reader before, and that's kind of why I wrote the book.
Great, good on you. I mean, that high-end nerding there.
Yeah, it's pretty niche. It's niche. I'll give you that.
But I will say though, at the end of the day, this is essentially these guys were the "Have I Got News for You" of the 18th century.
Yeah. It's the same sort of thing. But yeah, no, it's exactly that. And the people who created Spitting Image, they said that they owed James Gilray, who's the main artist, they owed him a royalty payment. That's how much they were inspired by him. So it's a real kind of the precursor to, I suppose, our modern cartoons.
Punch.
Our modern, it's that sort of, it's all that kind of in that vein.
Satire, Private Eye, and on it goes.
That's it.
Gotcha.
That's it. Yeah.
Okay, and then there's the other thing I wanted to ask you was about you've got another book coming out.
I have.
That's not till August, so we'll have you back in August.
Okay.
But until then, when we're going back to school, we'll have you back. But I love the idea of that book. It's a bit more a little less niche, shall we say? Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, so it's called 18, and it's all about British people in Britain and what they were doing when they were 18 years old. So the first one's Bede, the Venerable Bede, who was an Anglo-Saxon guy, and he was in a monastery. And then the last one's Vivian Westwood. So it's a real cut through of British history, looking at 18 different 18-year-olds and all the absolutely crazy things that they were up to.
Will it make 25 to 35-year-olds feel very inadequate?
No, this is the point. I didn't want to make it of people who have achieved a lot. There are lots of people in it, like Vivian Westwood, who when she was 18, when she was in her late teens, she'd actually dropped out of art school. She'd become a typist, and so she'd almost kind of she wasn't really sure what she was doing. She didn't know how to get there with her creative vision. And there's lots of people who have the same kind of insecurities and not sure what they're doing at 18.
That's reassuring then.
Yes, I hope so.
So there's life in the young dog yet, as it were.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, for all of us.
For all of us. Yeah, I like that. There's many chapters in these books. On the subject, we were chatting just during the last bit of Dua Lipa about how only a fool would be bored by history, because as you were saying, every stone, every blade of grass has been traipsed upon or built upon by somebody else with a story to tell. So have you any 2 or 3 things we should know, fun facts, silly things or interesting things? Hit us up.
Okay, so big history facts. Well, the big history fact from my book Uproar is that Napoleon was not a short man, as the rumours are. So he was actually of average height. He probably stood taller than Nelson. So the reason that we think that he was short was because of the artist that I wrote about, the main one being James Gilray, and they created this propaganda in the height of the Napoleonic Wars to bring down Napoleon in the most personal way they possibly could. By saying
so Donald Trump did this with Marco Rubio, little hands.
Yeah.
I mean, essentially, it's a version of that.
Yeah, well, it's like, how do you bring down a very important person who's actually incredibly successful? Do something quite personal.
This is again the reason of history is so beautiful is that it's all been done before.
It's been done before.
Nothing's
new.
Anything else you'd like to dazzle us with before you go?
Well, the thing that people love on social media is the fact that the way that we have the design of bollards, say in London, is because they originally were the disused cannons that were seized on French ships. So they'd have literally put cannons in the street, and we don't have cannons put in anymore, but that is why they have that design, and they'd have had the cannonball at the top. So you know how they're like rounded at the top, those bollards?
I love hearing this stuff. This is great. Okay, this is why people need to follow you, and of course buy Uproar, because you write as entertainingly as you speak. And let me ask you, how do people follow you? Somebody just on saying, I need to follow this woman immediately.
Okay.
So where do they find you on Instagram?
Yeah,
or
so
TikTok,
just
obviously.
history_Alice, and it's on all the main channels. So it would be wonderful to have everyone on the history adventures with me.
All aboard! Okay, Queen of the Nerds, Alice Loxton, lovely to see you.
Thanks so much.
Thanks for coming. Enjoyed that immensely. Your inaugural appearance on the radio here with us here, top of the tower. And I'm sure you could just have a quick sweep across and tell us about every single building, but we don't have time. Well done on Uproar. Looking forward to 18, and good luck with everything.
Thanks
See you soon.
so much. Bye.
Good luck.